Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Coach's Corner. My name's Kevin Papa. I'm coming to you live from the Rarely Public House here in Franklin, Massachusetts. Tonight, as always, joined by the coach, Ian Bain, to my left, and to my right, special guest, Sam Rosen, who's the defensive coordinator for Franklin. Fellas, let's get right at it. It was a long, crazy game. It's nice to get off to a 1-0 start. Okay.
Yeah, well, no, it is. That was kind of implied. Anytime you can get off to a 1-0 start, I mean, you only get so many games that you get to play in a year. You know, definitely 10, hopefully an 11. And just to take care of the first one. You can only handle the games that are in front of you. You can't really look too far ahead, and you can't get stuck looking behind, but take care of the week as it comes to you. And great opponent as well, so to get not only a 1-0 win, but a win over a quality opponent was very important.
So Wachusett gets the ball right off the bat. They go 3 plays, 40 yards. They move the ball really, really fast down the line. They get an unsportsmanlike foul, and all of a sudden they're right inside the red zone right away. Sam, what's going through your mind at that point?
Just a lot of correctable things that are happening there. Penalties, we blew coverage, and all stuff that can be corrected. We're behind the 8 ball at that point in time, so we need to get the guys settled, get them into good defense, and hopefully get them off the field. We just have to reset.
So they go 3rd and 4. They get a big scramble by the quarterback, who's a very good player. Missed tackle here or there. A running back dive. It's 7-0. We get the ball. 2nd down, hold. Wipes out a huge DVD run. A full start. Linebacker comes in unaccounted for, number 7. He gets a sack. We're done with that series. What's going through your mind?
With a team with a little bit of inexperience, I think we were talking about we didn't expect to have it go easy early. We told the kids that we had to go out and take their best punch. That was a team that was very experienced, a lot of seniors, a lot of returning players that played at our place last year. So not that we expected to play, I would say, poorly, but we knew that we were going to have our hands full, and we needed to weather that storm, settle down. We really didn't start playing football until we punted in really their 2nd possession. I think at that point, not that the butterflies were totally gone, but a lot of those initial nerves had worn off, and then you could just kind of lean back on your coaching, on your technique, on your drills, and not have to deviate from the game plan either.
So Wachusett gets the ball at their own 45. Lackey gets a great rush at the QB. Lackey seemed to be Lackey and Quintin are just menaces out there. He gets in the face of the QB, bad pass. There's a great run by the QB, but on 4th and 2, a bad pass, and that changes field position. Are you excited about the way the defense is at this point? Or
Well, just feeling good. I thought we needed to get pressure on that 4th down. We did. Affected the pass and come out well. So anytime you can get them off the field, especially with a quarterback as good as they have, feel good about what we're doing and starting to get settled down, play our game.
Right. So then Franklin gets it. It's from the 48-yard line, and we go one play. It's a 3-yard. I don't know if it's a hitch or an out. I can't really tell. But it's to Luke Davis. Luke Davis breaks 3 tackles, and he goes 52 yards for a touchdown. Game-changing play. Great play. It's just that's just an athletic play at that point.
Yeah, it's not asking anybody to do too much on the play. It's a simple, relatively simple read for our quarterback. It sets our lineup for success, the way that we had it blocked up and schemed up, and the way that they defended it told us to throw that ball. It could be a simple pitch and catch, but obviously Luke is a tremendous athlete. I thought we had some good blocks downfield, and more importantly, staying above the waist and not in the back. And I think you saw then the opening game sort of rust for them, where they missed the tackle too. And there was, once we just actually focused and just, all right, let's play football now. Let's make them have to play football to beat us. We were able to make the play that we needed, and now we're right back in the game.
And we kick off, and this is indicative of the whole first half, where it was just nothing but momentum change after momentum change, right? They get a ball, they get an 18-yard run, they get a face mask penalty, they get a roughing the passer hit to the head. I guess it was a hit to the head. It was definitely a hit to the head.
It looked worse than it was. It wasn't
Right. No,
but this day and age, we need to know that you can't
touch your head, you're getting a penalty. And all of a sudden you're at the 20-yard line. You get a hold, an incomplete, and then a PI from the back judge, who is throwing it just looking at white jerseys, not looking at Wachusett jerseys. And I'm not saying he makes a bad call, but the guy standing right there doesn't throw the flag till the yellow flag hits right in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we talked to the kids about during the week was just quick changes. You know, you think you're in a situation where you're getting the team off the field, and then there's a penalty, or a big run, or the offense comes out, and then quick score or turnover. You just got to be ready to come back out and play defense. And we had a lot of situations in that drive where we were quick change. Penalty, we think we have them off the field, and suddenly back to 1st and 10, further down the field. So we didn't probably handle that as well as we could have, but the one thing is we kept fighting through it, but we didn't execute quite as well as we needed to.
So it's 14-7. Franklin gets the ball again at their own 35. Zabriskie gets a flood right. He goes for 55 yards on it. Really nice play, really nice setup. A high snap kills the play, kind of gets Jay sacked. Ends the first quarter. We get another penalty, and the drive stalls, and Cortese knuckles one into the uprights for a 30-yard goal.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate that we have a very strong kicker and punter in Garrett. There's a reason he'll play on Saturdays next year. But again, we've kind of been there before with the scrimmage, and first trip to the red zone that night. Needed to execute better. Unfortunately, we did better from then on out. But I thought it was a good job of sort of getting back on track enough to be able to be in position to kick the field goal, being in position to hold our blocks, and at least walk out of there. We want to score 100% of the time in the red zone. We want to score 70% touchdown. That's our goal. But as long as we're walking out of there with points, taking care of the football, not taking bad sacks. So to get points was big, especially early in the game, and we knew it was going to be a long game. The way that we play and the way that they play, with a lot of guys going one way, and again being inexperienced. So we had to. It was very important that we get out of there with points. So that was a very clutch kick for Garrett.
So we kick off, and again the momentum swings back again to 2 plays into our territory. But just Rampino makes an incredible run stop, a 3rd down drop, and they finally punt.
Yeah, again, just our goal is to get him in the 3rd down. And we can start working with our pressure packages. One of the things we're really fortunate that we can do is we bring a lot of guys in the game, keep guys fresh. And so, as we're getting further into the half, Julian, he's still fresh. If he can get in there, he made a lot of great plays in the phase there. Pass game made it difficult for them to get the ball out on target. Helped us out.
So Franklin's 4th possession. We go a couple runs, a flood pass right. Zabriskie this time is the inside receiver. He gets 15 yards on the 1st down. Drive stalls out. The one thing I wanted to touch on this is you do take a halfback pass, and I think we've talked about this over the years. We see something in the defense while we're running this. This is not a panic situation.
No, it was when you, excuse me. Certainly you look for certain elements when you run a play like that. We don't want to run it backed up. We don't want to run it against a bad look. And we had a certain formation that, it's unique enough to where there's not a lot of options for how they're going to play the single receiver, which in this case was Luke. Just about everything about it worked out. Just that kid made a really good recovery and was able to challenge Luke on the catch enough to make it an incompletion. But, there was something there. I think everybody saw it. We had a chance, and they don't always go your way. Yeah. It stunk because then, like when you do that, then you run the risk of, well, now it's 2nd and 10. Now you're working a little bit off schedule. But I think it's good to get those things on film too. And when you work on it all week, you got to use it. So it was planned. The look was there. The moment was right. So we said, let's do it. And, hopefully next time when an opportunity like that pops up, we'll make the most of it.
The next series, they get the ball. There's a play where Ricky Lackey and Padula really bust up a play. Quintina makes a great play on a screen pass. At this point, Sam, I'm thinking we're not having issues with the line here. It's broken plays.
Yeah, broken plays. We missed a couple of reads, in the run game, but the nice thing was we weren't seeing anything that we hadn't seen all week. The screen pass, I think, is a really good example of the film work that the kids do, showing up on the field, recognizing what they're trying to do, and every time we came off the field, we just kept saying, "Look, this is what we've seen. This is where we need to correct. This is where we need to get in position." It was awfully loud, so communication.
As it is in here.
Yeah. We had to work on the communication a little bit so that we get that set and get aligned. But I think once we started settling down and we were reading our keys, we were.
So then we get the ball again, and we got about a 62-yard field, and there's Luke Davis again, making the same exact catch, and going 62 yards this time. Coach, I've been around as long as you have for this whole thing you've had, and I've seen all your wide receivers, and I go right from Leonard, who's all the way to last year with Tracy and Kindred, and watching those two plays, I'm comparing Davis not to his brother, but to Brian Driscoll, the kid who could catch the ball, short catch, and just take it long, maybe a little stronger.
I think it's fair to say that Luke is probably one of the best overall athletes we've ever had. Him and Jace, just athletically speaking. Obviously talented quarterback, talented receiver, defensive backs too, but just really good athletes. And they're the type of kids that I think are good at just about every sport that they do, and they're well prepared. They have great minds for it, physically, mentally. So, he's a kid that you have to try to get creative in how you get them the ball. And I think at the end of last year too, that helped us win some games, moving Tracy around, moving Shane around a little bit. And obviously, Luke has played on the outside a lot, but he's got the ability to sort of be an inside guy too. So there he was the number 3 receiver in the trips. There are times where we move him into the slot. There are times where he's the number 2 guy in the trips. So just an intelligent player, and it's nice to have that flexibility to work with. So he's definitely one of the most talented athletes that we've had in any way, shape, or form in Frank.
And you go back to say Jace being one of those athletes. There's a play, Trubisky's first flood pass, where if you watch, the only guy chasing him down the field to make a block is number 10. And that's a little scary when your quarterback is running downfield to make a block.
Yeah.
But that just shows what kind of competitor. So then we have 3 minutes to go in the first half, and this is the most insane, I want to say 6 or 7 plays, 8 plays I've ever seen in my life to end a half. Wachusett blocks a PAT. Wachusett returns the kickoff to the Franklin 32, so again we have now switched momentum. Chase gets an interception. Wachusett gets an interception on the next play just by an incredibly athletic play by this Cole, who actually blocked the PAT. DJ has a great pick, returns it all the way down. We get a block in the back. That comes back. We get the ball. There's a sack, a pass interference, personal foul, and another interception just on a just it meant nothing at that point. 6 penalties each. Ball wasn't turned over in the first however many minutes, and then it got turned over 4 or 5 times in that time. What's the message you're going into with your team at that point?
I think it felt like we lived 2 weeks in that 2 minutes. Again, but this is where we talked about, like I said before, the quick changes, and we have, it's almost like ping pong back and forth. We get an interception, they get a pick back, and then we're inside the red zone. But our kids stepped up. DJ, I haven't seen a run like that since Bo Jackson was at Boston. I think he ran about 250 yards on that. So that was one. But yeah, what we go into halftime saying is, look, there's nothing to deviate, at least defensively, nothing to deviate from the game plan. We're seeing the things we need to see. We need to correct our mistakes. If we correct our mistakes and execute and do the things we talked about during the week, we're going to be fine in the second.
So now you going into halftime, you've scored twice, but on 2 plays. What's your mindset at this point?
I mean, I felt like we showed that we could move the ball and run the ball. It's just, the first drive we had the bad penalties. The halfback pass just not hitting kind of set us up to not be in a great position there. But I mean, I felt like when you look back at it after the game, and I remember feeling this at halftime, I felt like offensively we were very efficient. In the plays that we called, the plays that we ran, things were working, the kids were comfortable. But I also remember feeling very confident that, all right, now we have experience. Now we're a seasoned team. And we had the benefit of hopefully wearing them down enough to where some of the things would really start to show through like we were hoping and thinking that they might.
So we start the second half. It's really a very good drive in the second half. Zabriskie makes a big catch. The guy covering him falls. Zabriskie does what he's supposed to do as a receiver. Gets away from him, makes a catch and a run. He flips the field, right? 39-yard line to 39-yard line. Davis gets a short pass. There's an offside. And then, mama, there goes that bad man again, Luke Davis. He does a wheel route for 29 yards where I want to say the cornerback makes a good, he recovered well. Falls a little underthrown, but Luke goes up there and fights for it and says, well, they actually called pass interference. Yeah. But Luke does another great job, and that's our rare play of the game. Coach?
Yeah, we tell our quarterbacks that, it was a double move, it was an out and up. We've kind of been working to set that up. The way that they had kind of been playing the trips, because that's we'd have some success, we thought that they kind of pulled their safety's attention over that way. And we tell our quarterbacks when the guy's head open, just put it on him. Doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of times when guys try to be perfect on that ball, they overthrow it by just a hair. And you're sitting there going, why'd you overthrow it? So, don't throw it out of bounds. Don't overthrow him. Just put it on him, which he did. It seemed like a little underthrown, but we talked about that. We worked on that. And you just trust your kid, like, it's either going to be a catch or a pass interference. And it was both. And it resulted in a touchdown for us.
Finally, we get a little momentum stop. The next series out, Hugh and Lackey make 2 or 3 really good plays. We're 3 and out, and we force them to punt their first 3 and out of the game.
Yeah, it took that long, but yeah, that was a good way, starting the half, and I think we were finally starting to get the pressure to them. And, we're getting pressure up front, but I think it should go without saying that a lot of the reason for that also is that the coverage on the back end of it is really good.
Right.
And Sid and DJ, Bobby, Connor, they're doing a great job of taking away the passing lanes, covering the receivers, and so the quarterback doesn't have a lot of places to go, and it gives our rush that much more time to affect him, and the ball doesn't come out the way he wants it to. So yeah, that was encouraging. That's what we wanted to happen.
Franklin gets the ball back. Zabriskie a couple passes. The beat gets loose a little bit. Drive scrolls. Cortese hits it from 22 yards, and we're up 25-14.
Yeah, really important right there to make it a 2-score game. Puts a little more pressure on them. And again, it's just early in the season when so many things obviously didn't go our way because of self-inflicted errors. You got to maximize every point you can get because that can change the course of the game down the road.
And then the next drive, it looks like we're going to get a 3 and out again with Nutter making a great play, and then a push play in a spot, and it's a first down for Wachusett. And then the quarterback breaks a 70-yard run. They get a pass interference. They score a touchdown on another draw and another pass interference on the extra point, which they're allowed to use on the kickoff.
No, the kickoff penalty was another personal foul.
Oh, okay, I thought.
No, you can't.
Pass interference. They use it on the kickoff.
Yeah, you can't use it on anything.
Okay.
But it was the dead ball. After the try was good, we did something that wasn't horrific, but it was wrong and unsportsmanlike, and we deserved the flag. And and at that moment of the game, that was really huge because us being a little selfish and not thinking about the situation and the team, like Wachusett came out and they were either going to onside kick it or pin us deep. At least, that would give them a good, advantageous spot to do that. So we didn't help ourselves with that penalty.
And the kickoff is moved to your side of the field, just about. And they pooch it, and Corallo makes a hell of a play. He catches the ball at the 15 and reverses the field by giving it to the Franklin 40.
Yeah, Andrew has an ability to just make plays. He showed that at the freshman level last year. He's shown it in our scrimmages. He shows it in practice. He's a very quiet kid. He doesn't say much, but for whatever reason, when he puts on a football uniform, he turns into a different human. He has a different fire, a different desire. I don't know that he realizes how good he is at football, but he's a young guy. I think he's still figuring out some things, but something about him lights up differently, and with the right preparation, he's going to be a really good player in our program.
So then we get the ball at the 40. Grayson and Jace work out some crazy play where Jason's just about sacked and he gets off and Grayson makes a play. Davidi gets going a little bit, hits a 25-yard run. It's nice to see him get in for the touchdown. We go up 32-20.
Yeah, and just the way the game had gone and the clock, at that point we're not in a situation, because we're only up by 3. We're not in a situation where we're saying the time is more important than the points. We needed the points. Could we have maybe got an extra minute off the clock? Maybe, but at that point we're just thinking points. And so that was a really big moment. And now we put the pressure on them to get 2 scores in about 3 minutes. And the way our defense had played, we felt like we're close to nailing it shut, but we got to finish it.
So then Wachusett gets pretty much one last shot at it. They throw a long ball. They get brought back on a hold when I think they're 28 penalties up, scored like that. QB gets another big run, but then Q picks the ball up to pretty much seal it.
Yeah, we on the QB run, we dropped 8 in the coverage. I think it was like third and all of Siberia. Keep it in front of us. Right. He just made a great play, and again put the pressure back on us, but we were able to get settled, get back into good coverage. We see it in practice a lot. He just kind of robs that middle and found the football and paid off in the game, and it's a good way to end it.
I love the nice thing was Q just dropped. He went to the sideline, dropped to the ground, and didn't try to get stripped.
It took some encouragement from the
I don't know if
coaching
there was
staff.
encouragement somewhere on that thing.
He's a competitor, though. He wants to score. It's hard to shut that off at that time, but also it's just game's over. They are out of timeouts. We were in good shape.
So we get on the bus with a victory. You look back at it, there's a lot of, on both sides, a lot of penalties, a lot of big plays, a lot of missed tackles. Is that expected in the first game?
I think it's a couple things. One is the MIAA and the officials, I should say, and rightfully so. I agree with this. I think our player, not our Franklin alone, but in general at the high school level, our player behavior and coaching behavior is not always the best. So I would much rather have a crew and a point of emphasis to make sure we're playing the game the right way. I will never question calls that I think are legitimate, and especially when they called it both sides. And I could see exactly what they were calling. We had a good crew that communicated every call to us. Sometimes officials get defensive and they think I'm questioning them. It's like, no, I want to know what happened though. So
I think the officials are always defensive, even when you go up to them.
We had a great crew on Friday. Point of emphasis, so you saw it called on both sides. I think, as far as the big plays, their biggest plays came when that quarterback scrambled. And if you study, just in general, scramble situations
just
result in very big plays, very chunk plays. And when that kid's going to UConn for a reason, that can be really tough on us. So I wouldn't say we expect it, but we know that that's going to happen when you play a talented kid like that. And, in Brockton, they're going to have very talented kids, so big plays are going to be a part of the game. That's a big part of football. It's a statistic that a lot of programs emphasize, and we emphasize it as well, is how many big plays can we generate, because it's hard to sustain 15-play drives. Unless you get in the eye and you're just bigger and you can pound 3 yards at a time, which we're never going to do. That's not our style anyways, but when you play Division I football, that's a hard style to live with. You got to have plays by design their plays to get chunks, and they obviously have the same thing. And that's part of the game, but it's like coaches talk about. You got to be able to bounce back, recover, and get on to the next deal. And we were able to do that more times than we were not.
But I don't want to spend a lot of time on Brockton because we're going to spend a lot of time on Brockton next week. But they do come in. We've not, I don't want to say owned, but you guys are I believe we're undefeated.
We're 3-0, but they've all been really good games. Even last year's game,
but this is a different Brockton team.
It is.
As every year in high school football. It's the one thing that people don't seem to take away is that your entire team changes every year.
It does, and I think back to 2017 or 2018 rather, when we won in the playoffs. That was a close game. We were kind of able to make a big special teams play late with Nolan McClaney. In 2019, back and forth game, and I want to say we scored three touchdowns in the span of 4 minutes in the third quarter. But even with that, you get a little bit of breathing when you're a team that good and that well coached. One play in 2019, the kid rattles off an 80-yard touchdown and it's a ball game again. And last year, you remember both squads went out, we scored first, we kind of traded blows. Momentum shifted a little bit when we got a safety, but that team was super talented too, and they can just score at any moment. So it's just important for us to kind of play in the moment, recover from any adversity that we see. We're going to see it again. They've got 2 Division I receivers on their team. They've got a big right tackle. They're coached very well. They're coached by a guy who is supposedly in his last year. He's a Hall of Fame coach, and so his kids are going to play hard for him. He's going to coach hard. So I mean, we've had success, but they've been really good games, and we know exactly that we're going to have our hands full on Friday. So we're going to be ready.
So I just wanted to just quickly touch on this with both of you. Now with the advent of Twitter, I believe when you started, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But you see all the alumni that played for you guys that are having success at the next level. I mean, just this weekend, Joey T wins an award for his team.
End of the game.
Tommy Gasparo's making tackles. I saw pictures of Kindred. How's that make you guys feel as coaches and as a program?
It's rewarding because you're seeing guys who've gone through your program and they're taking those things that they learned here. They're just doing it at the next level. They're being successful, and it's just stuff like you would always expect. Like there's some great kids, work hard, and it's well deserved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean it's a big thing for us that if a kid wants to play college football, and we get this a lot from our kids as well. They get to camp, and camp's hard. Training camp in college is tough. Not every program does it the way that we do it. And it's really, I think, a testament to our coaches and our systems, the way that, obviously they learn a new offense and defense, but mentally and physically, they're prepared to play college football. So I think a lot of guys, they'll share that with us. They're able to have success there, but it's because of the preparation they had here at Franklin High School. And it's nice to know, too, that any player that comes to our program, they're serious about playing at the next level, we can definitely get them an opportunity. It doesn't mean that they're going to get it. It doesn't mean that they're going to start it in college football. It doesn't mean that they'll make a team. But I think our track record has shown, I think we've put 28 kids on the college roster that have come through the door for us. And we'll continue to do that as long as they put in the time and the effort. I think we love to see it. We take a lot of pride in seeing our guys play on Saturdays and following the games.
As you should. So that's going to do it for us tonight, but a couple of shout-outs. One, shout-out to the Franklin Youth Football Squad for a great hat that they put out. Shout-out to Tracy T. and Mary Beth for taking on the Gridiron game again for a second straight year. We'll be here Friday night tailgating at 5 o'clock. Games at 7 up at Paisani against Brockton. Happy birthday to Jen Bain. For all the good people here at the Raillery, come on down every Wednesday night, 5:45-ish. Have dinner, have drinks, learn a little bit about Franklin football. For Sam Rosen and Ian Bain, my name's Kevin Papa. Thanks for watching the Coach's Corner.